What would happen if humans suddenly disappeared from the Earth? The question seems silly, but it is of great interest to scientists, and many answers are given with scientific grounds. So let's find out these answers together. Talking about the issue of human extinction, it is very unlikely but not impossible. According to scientists, there are three main reasons that can make humans completely disappear from the Earth, like dinosaurs did. Number 1 is a cosmic scale collision between Earth and an asteroid or another planet. And second, it is a global pandemic, which is much worse than the COVID-19 pandemic. And third, it is the climate change. It will cause warming, cooling, disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis, and that can also make people disappear. But let's just assume suddenly people disappear from some reason. What will happen? We will have three issues of concern, including cities, countryside, and humans' remnants. Firstly, in the city, if people disappear, no one treats the water system. Rainwater and groundwater will rise, quickly engulfing the subway system in cities in just 36 hours. Next, all livestock like the animals, etc., locked in the farm or animal farm will starve to death. Some of them will eat leftovers, decaying, or cannibals. Water will continue to flow in the heart of the city, corroding metal system, destroying the structure of the underground transportation system. Soon it will become rivers in the middle of the city. The water will sweep the land and cause the landslides. Cracks in the streets appear. Trees begin to grow. Within a few hundred years, the whole city will be covered with old trees below and vines on the building. When the layers of organic matter are dried, such as leaves and twigs, are large enough, a lightning bolt will set them on fire. The fire will spread, melting the metal of the buildings. The top buildings will fall, and then the city will be razed. 500 years later, there are only grasslands and dense forests. Coming to rural areas, after humans disappear, the first thing that recovered and developed the most terrible were insects. Because pesticides and chemicals are gone, this will be the beginning of a chain of events. When the insects are active, the soil will be very lush, plants will grow, so the birds will also thrive because they have a lot of food. This transformation will lead to biodiversity on a global scale. Researchers have shown that the Earth is already extremely rich with species of the megafauna group such as lions, elephants, tigers, rhinos, and bears flourishing in the past. That changed when humans began to spread across the planet, hunting these animals, invading their habitats. Without humans, the central United States and parts of South America would be the richest megafauna on Earth today. Animals such as elephants are common sightings on the Mediterranean islands, and there will even be rhinos across most of the northern Europe. But will this diversity soon return? The answer is probably no. Scientists studied that it would take about 3 to 7 million years to return to the way it was before. And finally, the ruins. When there are no people, no one to control the oil refineries, nuclear power plants, most likely nuclear explosions will happen, releasing into the air a large amount of the radioactive material, threatening many animals. Those constantly flowing oil wells will also release huge amounts of CO2 into the air, and petroleum waste will spill or seep into the ground at industrial parks and factories. And huge mountains of garbage will be decomposed and reused by microorganisms or plants, which can take decades. However, POPs or PCBs are very difficult to decompose. They will take thousands of years to be buried in the ground or ocean. When more greenhouse gases are suspended in the atmosphere, there is a consequence that the continued warming of the Earth leads to a faster melting of the polar ice caps, and that releases more greenhouse gases, glass, due to the softening of the permafrost, so that the Earth is warmer. This will create a continuous loop. All of this makes it possible for us to understand that the effects of the climate change linger long after we leave. But this doesn't last forever. CO2 doesn't stay in the air forever. Our oceans act like a giant CO2 absorber, but the absorption rate will be a bit slow. Scientists calculate that it would take up to 100,000 years to absorb all of the CO2 present, not to mention the extra gas released after humans disappear. Moreover, the sea can only absorb a certain amount of CO2. If too much CO2 is absorbed, the seawater will be full of acid, threatening the life of millions of marine species. In short, even if we disappear, the consequences we cause are still there. Therefore, we should repair and protect the earth to make it greener and more beautiful and avoid the apocalypse. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to leave a comment down below to show your opinions. And see ya next time.